So on this video, I'm going to go over a bear spread using puts. So this is a debit vertical spread with a bear intent. So the idea is very simple. We have an expectation that a stock is going to go down or an index is going to go down. And we will take a position by simply buying a put. And then since buying a naked put will be a little expensive, we are going to write a put against it to make it cheaper. So this is similar to what we have talked about with the speculative position with the calls, with the bull intent. Bear expectation and a vertical bear spread, a debit spread, is also a speculative position. So let's look at an example stock. I just picked up Apple, again, for no particular reason. And tonight is a Sunday night, so we don't really have a market going on. The current spot price for Apple is $241. So Apple spot price is $241.41. And this is Friday's closing. Now let's look at the put options. Again, we have a bear expectation. We expect this price to go down. And again, for this educational purposes only, for the sake of this lecture. So let's look at 240. Let's say that we are expecting this to go down and we want to buy a put option at $240. So we want to buy a put option with a strike price of 240, which means that if Apple were to go down below 240, this put option would increase in value and we would make money. So our cost right now, if we were to just buy this naked, would be $6.40 per share. So strike is 240, cost is $640 since there are 100 shares per contract. So this is rather expensive. And we're going through some tough times. If you look at the VIX, you will see that the VIX is 46, and this is a really, really high compared to what we're used to for the past year of around 14 or 15 level. The VIX now is incredibly high. We have seen as high as 85, but having a 46 or around 50 is also considerably high. So given that high of a implied volatility, the prices of these options are incredibly expensive. So just to make it cheaper, what is it that we realistically expect Apple to drop by this expiration date? And this specific option has an expiration date of 2020, April the 9th. So in about 4 days. So Friday is, as far as I know, is Easter, and therefore this is the Thursday's maturity. So if Apple goes to 240, let's draw a little line right here at 240. Anything below this, we would actually approximately 240. Anything below this, we would make money, and that's a naked put that we own, that we bought. Now, obviously, this is really nice because we would realize all the profit that we could potentially have if Apple were to crash. But we only have 4 days, and a stock can drop so much. And I'm thinking if I were to write a put option against it, against the one that we just bought, say at around 230, I'm trying to have a quick draw. So let's assume that it is the 230. Yeah, it's close enough. Basically saying that if it were to go below 240, we'll make money. But then if it were to go below 230, then we won't make any more money. So if the price is between 230 and 240, we make money. But anything below 230, we will not. So then this is the one that we are buying. And then we are also writing. So this time we're writing this at the strike price of 230, and then our cost for this one will be at 230. We're writing at 320. So this will be 320. Well, this is not a cost, so perhaps we should just say price. And then with this price we are paying, and then this one is we are collecting, receiving. So the overall, we're paying 640, we're collecting 320, and we are actually getting, or actually we're paying $320. We are paying overall. Now, just to revisit the bid and ask prices, notice that $240 strike is the one that we're buying. Therefore, we're buying it at the ask price. Notice this column is the ask column, and then the next one is the bid column. So since we are buying the 240, we're buying it at the ask price. That's the best price that's available for us. And then at the 230, we're writing it, and therefore we're writing it at 320. So overall, our cost is $320 for this specific vertical spread. And at the beginning, I said this is a debit vertical spread because we are actually paying the $320. We have a bear expectation, so we used put options, and this is the one that we bought, and this is the one that we wrote. So anytime the price is below 340, 240, we start making money, and anytime it actually goes even lower than 230, then we stop making any more money. So let's start a little spreadsheet and then go over this specific vertical spread. So this is a bear expectation, vertical spread. We're going to be using puts, and therefore this is a debit. Now, our long, we are going to have a long put, and then we're going to have a written put, or you could even call it short put. So now the long put, strike price for the long put is 240, and then the strike price for the short put or the written put is 230. Price for the long put we're paying 640, and then for the short put we're collecting 320. Now let's have a little bit of a scenario analysis, if you will. So let's say that the spot price goes up to $300. So since this is and let's have this as a exercise value, and then this is also the exercise value. Let's have these right in the middle, and then make sure that we know, and maybe I should just erase this anyways, just to make sure it doesn't confuse us. So let's make this in the center. Now, with the exercise value of the long put, when the spot price is $300, because this is a put option, the exercise value will be 0. We own this, and it is worthless. Now, with respect to the written put, it still is a put option for somebody else. We wrote it, But for that somebody else, because the spot price is $300, the option of being able to sell this at 230 is worthless. Now, if the price is, say, 235, now the exercise value for the long put, is $5. That is, we have a right to sell at 240, and the spot price is 235, which we can actually buy. So we can buy it to 235 from the spot market, and then we have a right to sell at 240, and therefore we have a $5 of an exercise value. Now notice we have 100 shares, and therefore we will have a $500 exercise value. Notice we paid $640 for this. Now the written put for the 235, the spot market is $235. The person who owns this option has a right to sell at 230. Since the spot market is 235, this written put is worthless. So at 230, exercise value again is we have a right to buy at 230 and sell at 240. And therefore we have a $10 and then 100 shares of a profit. And therefore we have a $1,000, not profit, exercise value, $1,000 exercise value. Notice we paid $640 for this. So our profit on this one would be $360. Now the written put, the one that we wrote, again, somebody owns this. They have a right to sell at 230. Spot price is 230, and therefore this is worthless again. Let's say the price drops to 200. Now, we have a right to, we own a long put at 240 strike. Therefore, we have a right to sell at 240. We sell at 240, and then we have a right to buy at 200 because the spot market is 200. So we buy at the spot market at 200 and then sell it at 240, and we realize a $40 exercise value for the 100 shares that we own, or 100 shares that is included in the contract, and therefore there's a $4,000 of an exercise value. Again, keep in mind we paid $640 for this. Now, with respect to the written put, now the person who owns this option that we wrote, he has the right to sell at 230, and he can buy at the spot price of 200. And also, one contract has 100 shares, so his profit is $3,000, which is our loss. So I'm just going to put a negative sign in front of this to show that his profit is our loss. Now notice, overall, when the spot price is 300, the overall exercise value for us is 0. When it is 235, 500. When it is 230, it is $1,000. And when it is 200, it is still $1,000. Let's say Apple went down to $100. The exercise value will be again 240 minus the 100. That is, we'll buy it at $100, and then we have the right to sell at 240, and we have 100 shares, and that is $14,000 of exercise value. Now, for the one that we wrote, the person who has bought this from us has a right to sell at 230, and he can buy it from the market at 100. So buy at 100, sell it at 230, 100 shares, $13,000 is his profit, and which makes it our loss, and therefore our overall profit is $1,000. Now notice, in order to set this up, we paid $640, and then we collected $320. So the overall cost now is $640 minus the $320, and $320. So this is what we paid, and then this is what it is worth, and therefore our profit then would be the $1,000 minus what we paid for it, and that is $680. That's our maximum profit that we could attain from this vertical spread with the bear intent using puts via debit. So this is, again, what we call a bear spread using puts, or debit, vertical debit spread with puts. So that's about it. And this is the upper bound, and then this is the lower boundary. So anyways, this is the bear spread using puts. Thank you.